Ireland is a small country in Europe on the world map. There was once so much poverty and unemployment that millions of people migrated to the US and Britain in search of work and a better life. But today, the situation has completely changed. Now Ireland has become the European hub of the world's largest tech companies. Companies such as Google, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft have built their Europe headquarters in Dublin. This is not just because of the beautiful greenery, but because of Ireland's tax system, which made it Europe's tech and tax haven. Let's know that tremendous story of Ireland from the beginning and know how Ireland became the tech and tax haven of Europe. Chapter 1. Historical background. After centuries of British rule, Ireland took the path of independence in 1921. It became an Irish Free State in 1922 and became a fully independent republic in 1949. In the early years of independence, Ireland was an agriculture-based and economically backward country. In the 1950s, unemployment increased and people started going abroad in search of employment in large numbers. Between 1951 and 1961, more than 400,000 people fled the country. By 1960, the population began to decline, and in 1957, the number of unemployed had reached 78,000. Nevertheless, in the 1970s and 1980s, Ireland faced problems such as illiteracy, government debt, and inflation, which slowed growth. Chapter 2. The European Union's path. In 1973, when Ireland became part of the European Economic Community, which later became the European Union, the direction of its economy began to change. Now it was no longer solely dependent on Britain and began to receive new trade opportunities. Becoming a member of the European Union gave Ireland access to schemes such as aid for farmers and a large single market. This increased its exports and opened new avenues for investment. After this, the government made its economy more open in accordance with the policies of the European Union. In the 1980s and 1990s, the country removed many trade barriers, created a better environment for foreign investment, and adopted business-friendly policies, which made the path of development easier. Chapter 3. Changes in economic policies. In the 1990s, Ireland made major changes to its economic policies and adopted liberal reforms. The biggest step was to reduce the corporate tax. In 1999, Finance Minister Charlie McCreevy cut it from 32% to just 12.5%, one of the lowest rates in the world. Along with this, the government took several other steps, such as providing grants and incentives to attract foreign companies, providing technical assistance, and inviting investors through agencies like IDA Ireland. In addition, labor skills were improved by investing in English-speaking and educated youth. European Union membership also helped as it gave companies easy and free access to a large market of 500 million people. All these policies were aimed at bringing in foreign investment and rapidly growing Ireland's economy. Chapter 4. Foreign Investment and IDA Ireland. The Irish government created an agency called IDA Ireland to increase foreign investment, which attracted big international brands to start businesses here. In the 1990s, American companies such as Dell, Intel chose Ireland as their production center for the European market. This was due to the low corporate tax, easy access to the single market across Europe due to European Union membership, and an educated young workforce. With the arrival of these companies, a large number of jobs were created in Ireland, and the economy grew rapidly. The IDA's strategy included simplifying the rules of doing business, speeding up legal processes, and introducing tax concessions, making it easier for foreign companies to invest in Ireland. Chapter 5. The economic boom of the Celtic Tiger. Ireland's period from 1995 to 2008 is known as the Celtic Tiger, when its economy grew extremely fast. At this time, the average annual growth of GDP was 9.4%, and between 1987 and 2007, the total GDP increased by 229%. For 2 decades, Ireland was counted among the poorest countries in Europe, but suddenly it joined the richest countries. It was also called an economic miracle. The major reasons for this rapid growth were foreign investment, exports of IT and pharmaceuticals, and stable economic policies. During this period, jobs in the private sector increased, incomes rose, and families who had once migrated abroad also started returning. Between 1995 and 2000, GDP grew at a rate of 9.4% and continued to grow at an average of 5.9% between 2000 and 2007. As a result, Ireland's per capita income reached the same level as the rich countries of Western Europe. However, during this time, the prices of land and houses increased a lot and a huge real estate bubble formed, which further laid the foundation for the economic crisis. Chapter 6. The Rise of the Tech Industry. During the era of the Celtic Tiger, Ireland became the hub of big tech companies. In Dublin and other cities, giants such as Google, Meta, Apple, and Microsoft set up their European headquarters. Apple, for example, opened its first plant in Ireland in 1980, and today employs 6,000 employees on its campus in the city of Cork. Facebook moved its international headquarters to Dublin in 2008, while Google announced in 2003 that its European headquarters would be in Ireland. Microsoft's Ireland office also employs more than 3,500 people. These investments brought new expertise in the technology sector, grew startups rapidly, and strengthened Ireland's tech foundations. Exports of IT and pharma sectors supported the country's economy even in difficult times. For example, even during the COVID-19 crisis, tech exports grew by 18%, registering a 3.4% increase in GDP. That is, the investment of multinational companies gave stability and strength to Ireland's economy. Chapter 7. Controversies and Criticisms. When Ireland became a tech hub and tax haven, many international controversies also surfaced with it. The biggest issue was base erosion and profit shifting, through which large companies used to save tax by showing their profits in low-tax countries. Ireland adopted tax regimes such as double Irish and single malt, which caused the real tax rates of large companies such as Google and Apple to fall to 2 to 4.5%, while the government continued to quote the official rate as 12.5%. Independent studies have found this average effective tax rate to be just 4%. The biggest controversy occurred in 2016, when the European Commission said Ireland had given Apple an illegal tax exemption and ordered it to recover 13 billion euros. In June 2024, the European Court of Justice upheld this order, and this led to a sudden 14% increase in Ireland's annual budget revenue. Although the government was initially not in favor of taking this money, the controversy showed that tax exemptions given to multinational companies raised questions about the European tax system. Chapter 8. Dual Role, Membership in Heaven. Ireland has always had a dual identity. On the one hand, it is a stable and reliable member of the European Union, and on the other, it has the image of a tax haven. European Union membership gave Ireland a safer and larger market, while its low tax rates attracted companies from all over the world. In October 2021, Ireland signed the OECD's 15% global minimum corporate tax agreement, allowing it to go above its old 12.5% rate. Despite many criticisms in Europe, Ireland has balanced this dual role well. Even today, the bulk of Ireland's tax revenues come from a handful of multinationals, which directly impacts its national financial plans. Chapter 9. Revival after Crises. The global recession of 2008 hit Ireland deeply. When the real estate bubble burst, the banking system was shaken, GDP fell by about 14% between 2008 and 2010, and unemployment reached 14%. The government had to borrow around 85 billion euros from the European Union and the IMF and take drastic spending cuts. At this time, many colonies of unfinished houses, called ghost estates, remained empty. By 2011, unemployment had gone above 15%, and thousands of young people had to go abroad again. But Ireland gradually improved. The banking sector was strengthened. Financial regulations were tightened and exports were emphasized. By 2014, GDP started growing again. And by 2017, unemployment had dropped to less than 7%. The European Union market, low taxes, and exports from multinationals were the major drivers of Ireland's recovery. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Ireland's economy still proved to be one of the strongest in Europe. GDP grew by 3.4% in 2020 as IT and pharma exports jumped by 18%, and it was the only European Union country that showed positive growth. In 2023, Ireland also created its own sovereign wealth fund, into which huge proceeds from banking tax were deposited. Overall, after every crisis, Ireland bounced back with the help of technology, exports, and the global market. Chapter 10: Global Context and Comparison. Ireland is not alone as a tax haven. The Netherlands and Luxembourg in Europe similarly attract large companies by offering tax exemptions. The Netherlands offers several exemptions on trade taxes, interest, and dividends, which led to the level of foreign investment reaching $2.68 trillion by 2023. Here, policies like participation exemption help companies. Luxembourg is also an attractive destination for large companies because many investment schemes are not taxed on dividends and long-term capital gains, so companies protect their profits there. Singapore is also a big tech and tax hub outside Europe. The corporate tax rate here is 17%, but new businesses and startups are given huge tax concessions. Many global tech companies report their profits in countries like Ireland and Singapore to minimize taxes. Governments in these countries offer better facilities for tech ecosystems, R&D grants, and international trade to attract investment. Just as Singapore emphasizes startups and research, Ireland takes advantage of European Union membership in higher education. Policies may vary, but the goal is the same: to attract foreign investment. This is why 85% of the world's phantom FDI, i.e., investments recorded only on paper, goes to 10 tax hubs like Luxembourg, Netherlands, Hong Kong, Bermuda, Singapore, Switzerland, Ireland, Mauritius, and Cayman Islands. This shows that Ireland is not alone in the tax advantage game. Chapter 11: Conclusion. Ireland's story is one of a major change. This country, which once struggled with poverty and migration, has become the tech and finance hub of the world today. EU membership, flexible economic policies, and large-scale foreign investment have put it on the global map. However, being called tax havens and legal controversies also showed that it is not easy to balance with rapid economic success. Now Ireland faces a new challenge: to comply with global minimum tax rules. But its biggest strengths are an educated and skilled workforce, a strong international regulatory system, and a conducive environment for investment. On these grounds, Ireland can remain a center of export and foreign investment in the coming time. If you enjoyed this enlightening journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video.